What is up, book nerds? My name is Hillary and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am a booktuber, so go check out my booktube newbie tag and come right back to this video. But today I am doing the mid-year freakout tag. I am so excited to do this tag because I want to see what books I've actually really liked this year and to share it with you guys on certain books that I've read. And if you agree with a bunch of these, let me know down below, or just let me know down below what your answers to some of these questions are, because I would be very interested and it's a good way to find new books to read. So without anything further, let's get right on into this video so we can get started. I have my laptop sitting here with the questions on it, but the first question for this tag is best book you've read so far in 2022. I had a hard time picking a book because a lot of books that I pick to read are ones that I know I most likely am going to love. And there's quite a bit of books that I actually really liked this year, but the only one I could really think of at the top of my head is House of Sky and Breath. It is the second book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. This was everything that I needed from just reading the first book, and I know there's a lot of mixed reviews on this book, but I absolutely loved it. If you don't know what the first book is about, it is about this girl named Bryce who had this horrific tragedy happen in her life, and all of a sudden things are starting to happen again that happened to her best friend, and she teams up with this guy named Hunt and they have to try and solve this case together. And when I say that you are in for an epic ride when you're reading Sarah J. Maas books, I am not lying. I am in the middle of reading her Throne of Glass series. It is a first read through for me and I'm really enjoying it. But so far I've liked almost every book by Sarah J. Maas, and I can't ever say anything bad about them because the way she writes is amazing. A lot of her books are marketed YA, but to me they are more new adult than anything, especially some of the spicy scenes in her books. But yeah, this is the best book that I've read so far in 2022, but that might change by the end of the year because who knows what other books I'm going to be reading this year. Question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2022, and I have a hard time continuing series or finishing series, but one of the series that I have gotten all the books read to except for one is the Shadowhunter series. But my favorite sequel that I've read this year is one that just came out. I think it was in January or February this year, and that is Chain of Iron by Miss Cassandra Clare. This book, oh my gosh, the way that Cassandra Clare writes is she can put a plot twist in at any point and you're just not seeing that one coming. If you don't know what Cassandra Clare writes, let's go back to the beginning, and that is the Mortal Instrument series. And all of her books are about shadow hunters. Shadow hunters are people who hunt down demons, and that is their job. And you can be a teenager all the way up to an adult doing this, and a lot of times you're born into this group. But the Chain of Iron is part of the Last Hour series, and this takes place in the early 1900s. It follows the kids from the Infernal Devices series, but I really enjoyed this one. It was a crazy ride reading this, and I'm so mad because I have to wait till January of next year to read the third one, but I'm excited. So I might end up doing a reread of the first and second book in the Last Hour series and do a reading vlog of it because these books are so good and I love them, and I could always do a reread of them and enjoy them all over again. Question number 3 is a new release that you have not read yet but want to, and that book for me is one that just recently came out. I believe it was last week, and that is Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. This is the third book in the Dark Olympus series, and I have liked every book in that series so far. I'm enjoying Katie Roberts' writing, and I'm in the middle of reading her Wicked Villain series, but this one is about Helene, who is the daughter of Zeus, and I don't want to read the back of it because these books are very short and they're quick reads, but every book has its trying to figure out how you're going to solve the mystery that's going on in it or what you think is going to happen, but there is a lot of spicy scenes. This is technically a smut book, and I just love Katie Roberts' writing, like I said, and I can't wait to get to this one. I'm hoping to get to it next month and to see what I think about it. Question number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of 2022, and for me, I am very excited to read the third book in the series that Carrie Maniscalco is writing, and that is Kingdom of the Feared. And I'm just excited to see what happens after the last book that I read, because it leaves you on such a cliffhanger and everything that happens. So Kingdom of the Feared, which is the first book in this series, is about these two twins, and one ends up dying, and the other twin ends up summoning a prince from hell, and his name is Wrath, and together they're trying to figure out who killed her twin sister and why this happened, and it takes you on such a journey. The first book is okay, but the second book is just amazing, and I just can't wait to see what Carrie Maniscalco does with that story because it was so good. Question number 5 is biggest disappointment. Now, I'm going to go through my Goodreads and just name off a couple of them. I know one is the Cursebreaker trilogy. I think that's what it's called. I will put a picture up. And that is by Bridget Kemmerer. This was an okay series for me. It wasn't my favorite. It was originally a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I enjoyed the second book a lot better just because I like the characters in it more. But I'm bringing up my Goodreads right now. Alright, let's see. I'm usually really good about picking out books to read for myself. Midnight Sun is one that I read this year, and I was really looking forward to reading that one because it wasn't Edward's point of view, and after I got done reading it, I was just like, why did she have to rewrite this? Why couldn't she write a book about Alice or Jasper or Emmett or Rosalie, any of the other Cullens, and then she could have just continued on, because I feel like Bella and Edward's story was just wrapped up with Breaking Dawn. The Golden Couple is another one that was a very big disappointment for me because I feel like the ending was just not as good as it could have been. I was really looking forward to reading that one. I got that one for Book of the Month and was excited to read that one. Yeah. I've done really good this year about picking books that I want to read that I know I'll enjoy even at that moment if I really enjoy it. But those are a couple of the books that were very big disappointments for me this year. Question number 6 is biggest surprise. Let me go look. So for biggest surprise, I picked the manga Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo. This is about a guy who is a spy, and he has this mission to form this family and get the kid into this school so he can take down the headmaster. And so he goes and he adopts this little girl who is a telepathic, so that means she can read people's minds, and she's listening to his mind and finds out that he is a spy. But he don't know that she knows that he's a spy, and he don't know that she's a telepathic. So she gets into this school, and they have to go to this questionnaire thing for the school to get in. It's just another test. And so he needs a wife, and he goes out on a date with this girl and asks her to marry him. So they get married, and she has her own reasons why she wants to marry him. And here to find out, she's actually an assassin. So, but he don't know that she's an assassin. She don't know he's a spy. Nobody knows that the little girl is telepathic, and it's just crazy. It is so funny to read this book. The little Jack that the little girl says is hilarious because they're all like, how do you know this? And I enjoyed this read, and I am excited to read the second one, which I have, and because I bought it, and can't wait to see where this series goes. Question number 7 is new favorite author. This is going to sound crazy. I've never read a book by this author until this year, and that is Miss Colleen Hoover, who I've read a couple of her books this year, like It Ends With Us, November 9th. Well, last year I read Verity, but that's a total different kind of genre than what she usually writes. But I've read Ugly Love, and I've given all her books 4 or 5 stars. She is becoming a new favorite author of mine. She writes romance, and her stories are so cute. They're easy to read, and they're fast reads. And like I said, I just enjoyed them, and can't wait to read more of her books, even her backlist. And she's coming out with a sequel to It Ends With Us this year, which I should have said that for one of my anticipated books for the year, but I forgot. But yeah, I'm excited to read her next book that comes out later this year. Question number 8 is new fictional crush. Oh geez. Way to just call me out on this. I would have to say, I hate these questions sometimes. I would have to say it'd be either James Herondale from the Last Hour series or Hunt Athalar from the Crescent City series. I just love him, and he's funny and he's tough, but he's a softie on the inside. On the outside, you would expect him to be this mean guy, but he's honestly a softie, and he listens to Bryce and what she talks to and what she needs and all this other stuff. I also like Matthew Fairchild in the Last Hour series. He is a sweet guy in the book, and he's just adorable, and he's always there for everybody else and puts their needs before his. And he has a whole other storyline of his own that he's going through some issues that he has. But yeah, those are my new favorite fictional crushes, and I can't think of anybody else that I could put into this spot. Ooh. This is a good question. So question number 9 is newest favorite character. Oh geez. I'm looking at my bookshelves right now, trying to think of what I've read and characters that I liked. Okay. So one of my new favorite fictional characters is, what's his name? Charlie from Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I like Charlie because in this book you're finding out more and more about him, and I liked him towards the end of the book where he's given up his career and everything to help his family out, and that just touches my heart because family means everything to me. And I feel like I would do the same thing. I would drop everything that I had to if I was a single person and take care of my family when they needed me. And then 2 other characters that I absolutely are my new favorite are Nick and Charlie from Heartstopper. They're just so cute and sweet, and Charlie is figuring out his sexuality in this book, and he's this big old guy, but he stands up for Nick, even though he doesn't understand who he is. This is volume 2, but I just love these characters. Charlie is such a sweetheart in this, and he is so kind to his friends, even though he goes through his own battles in this series. And I'm excited to read volume 3 and see what I think about that. So question number 10 is a book that made you cry. Now, I'm not a big crier in books, like if I'm physically reading them, but if I'm listening to them and something big happens, then a lot of times I end up crying that way. And the one book that made me cry this year is one that I didn't expect to absolutely love, and that book is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. This is about a boy who has a lot of mental health issues. He's depressed and all this, and he meets this girl named Violet, and they are assigned this school project to go find hidden places in Indiana and make a report about this. I'm getting choked up thinking about it, but you get to this part where something really, really bad happens, and when that part happened, I paused my audiobook and just sat there and cried. Because it just broke my heart. Because you just feel what the characters feel in this moment in this book. And yeah, this was a really incredible book to read, especially for someone like me who also deals with anxiety and depression, and I have panic attacks. And it was nice to see that rep in a book done really, really well. Question 11 is a book that made you happy. I can't really nail down one book that made me happy because all the books that I read, if I really enjoy them, I'm always happy. And because that's what reading is about. It's about bringing you happiness with something that you love. But if I had to choose one that made me happy, it would be Heartstopper, because just reading this graphic novel, it makes me smile the whole time I read it. Question 12 is favorite book to movie adaptation you've seen so far this year. Oh gosh. I don't watch a lot of adaptations or even TV or movies a lot because I'd rather just sit and read. And I have kids and I'm usually watching their shows. But the one that I did get to watch was One of Us is Lying, which was on, I think it was Peacock. Yeah, I think it was on that. Or No Exit. I enjoyed that movie. It wasn't the greatest because they changed so much from the book to the movie. But I personally enjoyed it. And all that. But I'd have to say, if I had to pick one that was better, it would be One of Us is Lying. I really enjoyed that because when I watched that, I knew it was coming out, so I ended up reading the book and really enjoying that, and the second one. But the only thing I had a problem with was the ending to season 1 of One of Us is Lying, because it totally was not like the book. And that's the kind of thing that upsets me more with adaptations, when they don't follow the ending of the book. Question number 13 is favorite review you've written this year. I don't read a lot of reviews. I don't do it on Goodreads. I just rate my books because I just don't want to put my own opinion out there on them. Just written. I do better explaining it to people. But if I had to go back on my Instagram, it would be one from last year about the Caraval series, because I really enjoyed that series. And I was so excited to read Once Upon a Broken Heart because I love the Jack of Hearts, which I mentioned that in my review. But yeah, that's what my reviews are about. I want to get more into scheduling, taking pictures of books, and putting them on Instagram with a post, because I need to start posting more on there. Question number 14 is the most beautiful book you bought this year. I need to go check my bookshelves and see what I got. So I found two because they're part of they're a duology, and I got them from Beacon Book Box, and they are so gorgeous. But those books are King of Scars and Roll of Wolves, both by Leigh Bardugo. The one thing I really do love about these books is they got the sprayed edges. This one's gold, and this one is silver. And not only that, but the outside, the naked cover of these books are just gorgeous. And they're both signed by Miss Leigh Bardugo, which just makes me excited. That's one of the reasons why I bought these. Is the biggest thing was that, sorry, trying to get this back on. I know that I'm going to love these books because I loved Nikolai in the Grishaverse series, but I didn't, or shouldn't say the Grishaverse, the Shadow and Bone series. I didn't really like those books, but when Nikolai came along, he was hilarious, and that's why I bought these books, because I know these are about him. But so here is Rule of Wolves. This one has this on the front, and the end papers are just as gorgeous, and this one's signed as well. But yeah, that's the main reason why I bought these, and I waited a while for them. And also, I knew that the stuff that came with them, like I got some Caraval stuff, and I have the Ravens book, which I haven't read, but I got something from that book collection, and all that. So if I know that I'm going to love the stuff, or I love the books that is coming in the book box, then that's when I will buy it. Question 15, what books do you really need to read by the end of the year? Oh geez, a lot of them. Let's see. I need to finish the Throne of Glass series. I want to finish Darker Shade of Magic because there's a new book coming out. I'm looking at my shelves right now thinking. I want to read the whole Crave series. I read the first two, but I want to read the next two after that, so I'm going to read them all back over, do a reading vlog for that because the newest book comes out later this year. Well, I want to get Kingdom of the Feared and read that one right away. And then, whatever... Oh yeah, and then a new Riley Steger book that's going to be coming out here soon in July. I'm excited to read that one. And The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter series. I want to read that. But those are the main books that I really want to get to by the end of the year. It's just wrapping up certain series and starting some new ones. Oh, and I'm reading The Poppy War, which I'm actually really enjoying. So I want to read all of those also. And then question number 16 is favorite community member for BookTube. I like everybody that I watch. I can't just pick one. And because they all bring certain things to the platform. So yeah, that's my answer. I just can't pick one, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings either. That's the biggest thing also. But yeah, that was the end of the questions, and I feel like I gave some pretty decent ones, or I'll probably go back through and be like, oh, I should have picked this book or this book, but that's okay. But if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button down below, and if you want to know when I'm posting, you guys, hit that subscribe and that notification bell, because I'm going to try and start posting more often during the week, and because I have some fun video ideas coming up. And yeah, that is it for this video. And as always, keep on reading, you guys, because reading takes you to a whole different world. Bye!